Good evening. What's going on, everybody? It is 7:33 p.m. here in Florida. And I'm going to be hanging out with you guys for probably like 30 minutes to an hour. I don't know if I'll do a full hour tonight. We're going out of town on Friday, and I still have a lot of stuff to pack. Me, my wife, my daughter, we're driving like 8 hours north to go to some mountains. We got a cabin rented, so this is the last stream that I'm gonna do before we get back in town next week, middle of next week. So, yeah, really looking forward to it, man. So yeah, what was I saying? Anyway. Welcome, guys. Let me know what you think about the latest episode of The Mandalorian. You guys know we never stay on topic with these streams, so we'll probably talk about The Mandalorian for 5 minutes, and the rest of the time is going to be spent bullshitting, as we always do. But welcome, guys. Sergio, Ben, Catherine, Tetsuo, Pink, Sergio, Reflex, Josh. Good to see everybody. This episode... I don't know, man. It was one of my least favorite episodes of the entire series. With everything, there's aspects that I enjoyed and aspects that I was just kind of mad. But, yeah, I don't know. What did you guys think? What did you guys think? Redstone liked it. He thought it was great. I'm glad you did, man. Sergio says, if there's something I'm really into this season is the character design. The pirate chief in the first episode and the cyborg in this one. They both felt very Clone Wars to me. Especially this like cyborg, whatever the hell it was. The big eye. Was it a Dianaga? From, A New Hope, the trash compactor? Or better yet, from Dark Forces in the diarrhea water slide. Is that what it was? No, I don't think so. But just the big eye reminded me of it, right? Yeah, it felt very Clone Wars to me. Maybe the entire episode kind of felt that way. What did you not like? I don't know. It just didn't hit me the way that a lot of the other episodes have really hit me. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I can't really articulate it right now. I watched it like first thing this morning. My wife and my daughter left for school and for work. And I sat down and watched it. And then did a bunch of stuff to get ready for our trip. And I don't know. The more I thought about it, the more I just... I enjoyed it, but... in the grand scheme of all the chapters, all the episodes that we've gotten so far, it's probably among my least. But, yeah. Temple of Doom vibes for me. Ah, yeah. I could see it, Jeremy. Yeah, Grogu's growing up, Josh. Him and R5 kind of skipping around the galaxy in the N1. I don't know if this hints at, future episodes future seasons rather, Grogu's gonna keep growing and growing and growing. And I wonder if at a certain point, we know that he's like 50 something years old, but in Yoda's species age, that's really young. Because they live for a long time. So I don't know if the passage of time is going to work in their favor for Grogu to actually grow up. But it would be funny to me if there's like 7 seasons of this show, if in the 7th season Grogu is like wielding a lightsaber and he's just talking. But yeah. Pelly has grown on you, Brandon? I liked Pelly from the jump. Steel Saunders, let me see what he said. Steel Wars. He kind of nailed it perfectly. He said, pretty sure the Pelly scene in this week's Mandalorian was written by AI. It's all references. That made me chuckle. It was. Vince, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for the first super chat and channel support of this stream. Vince says, that was a fun one. I'm glad Mandalore is being used as a catalyst for fun adventure rather than for lore. Very Lord of the Rings. Oh, yeah, I can see that. And I don't know what the hell that thing was, but I loved it. Gotta take off. Cheers. Cheers, man. Thank you so much for the support. I did like the, that, like, little creature scavenger that kind of hopped from robot to robot, right? Kind of reminded me of Men in Black when they open up that dude's face as in a little alien, you know, inside of his face. When we kind of found out that whatever the creature was inside of that that mech warrior was this little tiny creature, like the head pops off and it's almost the size of a football scurrying around, right? I did like that quite a bit. I like that quite a bit. Yeah, I thought that was kind of a fun, clever idea. But I'm with you. Like, you know, we've had a lot of Mandalore lore over the years, and that kind of stuff. I'm not a big fan of of Mandalorian lore and stuff like that, just because it feels so. I've said this before, generic to me. But I'm with you. It wasn't like all lore. It wasn't all that. It was kind of a little. Well, as Din put it, a little spelunking. You know, a little exploration inside of a cave, inside of a tomb, inside of a cavern, inside of an old decimated city. But yeah, I'm with you. Celador, happy to catch a stream for once. Do you think Grogu will start to talk sometime this season? If not this season, I'm guessing that is the future plan for Grogu. Being able to speak, you know, if not outright perfect basic, you know, maybe he will begin to form sentences. Maybe he will begin, you know, just like a toddler, right? Just like a toddler does. Form thoughts that form into sentences, form into cohesive verbal communication. But it's definitely gearing up to be that, I think. Celador, I didn't even think of that. Celador said, also I had a fear that the tiny creature would turn out to be Grievous. Thought I heard it cough a few times. Oh my goodness, I would have told Alexa to turn off the living room TV. What's the consensus on this one, Vince asks. It seems like most people in the chat thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked it, but for whatever reason, and, you know, it wasn't one of my favorites. It might be one of my least favorites of the series. And whenever I say that, you know, that doesn't mean that I really disliked it. I still had a good time. I was watching it on my living room TV. I had the blinds shut and everything, but it's still pretty bright in there. And the whole time I kept thinking to myself, like, God damn, I can't see anything. I was like, I can't, it's all mud and darkness. I couldn't, did anybody else have that problem? I'm sure if I watched it in like tonight when it's super dark and all the lights were off, it'd be fine. But, I couldn't see shit. Some of my favorite visuals were like when Mando, even Bo-Katan, kind of just, you know, they step off the ledge, and for whatever reason this stuck with me. I just liked the visual of it. They just kind of step off the ledge and at the same time turn on their jetpack, and you know, they're controlled falling down to the bottom of the caverns. You know, I don't know why I liked that. It was kind of like a little I don't know. I don't know why that hit me so much, that I just loved that simple visual. You know, Mando and Grogu, or Mando and Bo. Bo and Grogu, just kind of, you know, not free falling, but controlled falling down to the surface, down to the caverns. You know, I don't know why. Little shit like that. It's all about the little things for me a lot of the times. Like, even there was a part where I think Grogu was trying to escape and get out, and as he was speeding in his little egg, his ears were flapping in the wind like really fast, and I was like, see, the little things. I loved that. The little things. I'm a sucker for like little details like that. Vince, you missed Darth Maul hiding in the shadows then. Yeah, yep. Oh, darn. I should have turned on, like, the brightness to, like, 100. Just blown out all the shadows. Mimi, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I greatly appreciate that. Mimi says, another self-adventure episode. I love how it feels low stakes, but also important to Din. I also love how Boba Fett's Tatooine parties hard. Oh, with Boonta Eve? Yeah, I like the scenes of, you know, simple at the beginning with the fireworks, and then as they're blasting off, Grogu's looking out the window and you see the reflections of the fireworks and stuff like that. There's some really great visuals in there. You said, I love how it feels low stakes, but also important to Din. I think, you know, that's how it felt, or how do I put this? The way that low stakes feel, but important to Din, is how I feel like Bo-Katan felt. You know what I mean? She really didn't care to be there. She thought it was all goofy. She thought, you know, I'll tag along and just appease this woo-woo myth, just to kind of maybe make Din feel good. I'll come with you, buddy. You know what I mean? Go ahead and take a bath in those waters. Go for it, man. I'm along for the ride. You know what I mean? Like, it really didn't mean much to her. That's the way it felt to me. Like, she wasn't there for herself, wasn't there for any kind of grand plan or anything. She just was kind of helping him out and aiding in his Mandalore baptism, right? That's exactly what it was, Vince. Bo is humoring Mando. You said it with one sentence when I had to say it with 1,000 because my brain cannot form cohesive thoughts and concise thoughts. Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like, Vince. Bo is humoring Mando. And in the end, I think what was just a little, you know, appeasement to Din, a little humoring of Din, is she's going to get caught up into something big. The mythosaur at the end, that's what that was, right? I haven't done any Googling. I assumed that's the mythosaur. Yeah. So maybe she's... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what she does in the future, but I'm assuming she's gonna sees this little adventure more than now just humoring Din, you know. Go have fun on the playground, kiddo. I'll wait here. Yep. Exactly. It's, yeah. When Din got pulled under or whatever, we all expected that, right? All predicted that was going to happen. I wasn't the only one, right? It's like in this episode, if something could go wrong, if something could be hiding in the shadows, there was something hiding in the shadows. Every single time. Every single time. But anyway, Mimi, I appreciate the hell out of that super chat and channel support this evening. Before I go out of town for 5 days into the mountains. Oh goodness, I'm so excited. You have no idea. It's our first vacation in like 2 years. He just tripped, that's all. I can't imagine. You think he just tripped? I'm guessing he was pulled under or something, right? I'm talking like a tweeter. Cool to see the difference between how Din and Bo used the Darksaber, Ben. Oh yeah, I liked that too. It was Din was very clumsy with it. You know, he lacked experience with it. It felt very weighted in his hands, and Bo almost used it effortlessly. You know, she, you know, there's experience there. It was a good visual way to kind of show, I guess, the difference in character. But anyway, Nathan, thank you so much for the channel support. Nathan says, was it Nathan Alvarado? Thank you, man. Nathan says, hope you and your family are doing well. God bless. Cheers, man. I appreciate that. We are doing well. We are, as I said, on Friday, I'm getting home from work, and we're immediately hopping in the car and going to North Georgia to stay in a cabin, just the three of us, my wife, my daughter, and me. And we have hikes planned out. We got some restaurants and a couple breweries we're going to check out, and gonna just kind of lounge around a cabin and cook out some burgers and play in a big yard. And so it's a much needed little vacation. We haven't taken a vacation in a very long time. It's been a couple years. The last time we did a vacation was 2000. Well, it's been a little over 2 years. We rented a cabin 2 years ago. That's the last time we've done anything, really, other than just go down to Disney. But we live like an hour and a half away from Disney. That's nothing. We just go down there for the day, right? So can't count that. So yeah, massively looking forward to some time away. For the past 3 years, I've been, I was in EMT school. I was in the fire academy, and I've been on the job since, and haven't really taken any vacation days. And then right after that, about a month after that, me and my buddies are going to Asheville for another cabin trip. This is a cabin trip that I've done with my friends, the same 7 group of guys, me included in the 7. Since we were like 18 years old, like almost since we've had our driver's license, we've rented a cabin together. Like for 20 years almost. For 20 years, almost every single year, we rent a cabin. And we all get together. You know, some of the guys have moved to like Philly. One of the guys lives like, kind of around Boston. Some of them live South Florida. Like, everybody's kind of moved a little bit. There's still a few that live in Jacksonville, but we all converge on a cabin and we hang out for like 4 days. And sometimes we go like whitewater rafting. We always bring an ungodly amount of beer. Grill, play football, just hang out. And it's been a tradition for literally, 20 years pretty much. So we do that every year, and we all have kids now pretty much. And I've known these guys since I was like 13 years old. I've known them longer than longer than anybody other than my parents and my family, right? So pretty cool that we've all kept in touch and we all hang out. But anyway, yeah, got some fun stuff coming up. Always good pics from cabin trip. I'm bringing my camera, my DSLR, to both cabin trips, and we always put like a Shutterfly book together after me and my wife and my kid have a fun trip, and it's always good to pull them out occasionally and check them out. But I always get some good pictures, and I always try to do a little bit of astrophotography. I always like to kind of, if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen some pictures that I've taken over the years. Sometimes they turn out really good, sometimes they don't. But yeah, vlog. Nah, I'm not into that shit, man. When I'm on I have zero desire to make videos when I'm on vacation, like of me and my family. That's time I don't want to be thinking about making videos and stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not going to I don't know. I'm not going to throw my kid in front of a camera and put her on YouTube. I don't know why that shit just kind of weirds me out. Like all these family YouTube channels that I don't know. It's just it's weird to me. Is it weird to anybody else? It's weird to me. Especially like there were some really young kids. I don't know if they're still on YouTube, but that I don't know, like 6 or 7 years old, and they're on YouTube unboxing toys and stuff. Yeah, their channel's super popular and whatnot, but it's just fucking weird to me. Do another, I think one of them was like Ryan's Toys or something. Like, do another take, Ryan. Seem more excited about these Lego blocks. You open it again and seem more excited. Like, it's weird to me. I would never want to put my kid in that position. I don't give a fuck how much money you could make, how many subscribers you can get. I would never fucking do that to my kid. It's so weird to me. Anyway. I have no idea what goes into the detailed astro pics, but I'd love to do that, Vince. Yeah, I'm not good at it. What I do is I literally just take my DSLR. If I'm lucky, we're in a cabin around the time where the Milky Way is highly visible. And I kind of point it up, maybe put something interesting in the foreground. And I set my exposure time for like 25 or 30 seconds. Because anything beyond 25 or 30 seconds, you actually see a little bit of star streakage from the rotation of the Earth. It's kind of interesting. So yeah, I do a long exposure, and it just brings in all the light. And what's kind of cool is, how do I explain this? So like, let's say your exposure is open for 30 seconds. Your camera's eye is open for 30 seconds. It's taking all sorts of light inside of its sensors, and things that you wouldn't be able to see really with your naked eye are just blown out and look crystal clear. It's great. But what's cool is that let's say you have something dark in the foreground, right? That's not lit by anything. Maybe some trees, maybe the cabin itself. You have all the lights off, or maybe a car or a tent, something like that. What you can do is while the camera is open for 30 seconds, sucking in all the light, you can turn on a flashlight for like a split second, boom, on the thing that you want to light in the foreground. And because the camera's sucking in light, it will illuminate that. And, you know, obviously the longer you hold the light on that subject, the brighter it will be. So for a 30-second exposure, all you need to do, it's called painting. It's painting with light. So you can kind of run your flashlight over things that you want to be a little brighter in the foreground. It's kind of, you kind of have to play with it a little bit to see how long you need to hold the flashlight on it. But it's kind of interesting. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. Yeah, focus is very difficult, Cole, with night photography for sure. I tend to just kind of, if you focus for optical infinity, the stars will be in focus. If you look at your lens, a lot of the times, at least my 1022 has like an optical infinity. If you look, there's like a little infinity symbol on it. Generally, then things will be in focus that are very distant, right? But yeah, I'm not good at it. Like I said, I just kind of point it up, maybe find something interesting in the foreground, paint some light on the foreground, and then hope it turns out. And you never know until you pull it under your computer, right? Yeah. DK, I've never seen a single episode of The Bad Batch. Have I? I don't know why, man, but I don't have the pull of wanting to watch the animated stuff like I do with the live action. I don't know why. I focus on one star, then make the star small. Yeah, that's a good bet. And Cole, I've done that before, and what I usually do is, you know how you can like digitally not zoom with your lens, but on the view, not like the viewfinder, the flip out screen, you can zoom into that, you know? And if you zoom into that and find a star and then adjust your focus, that, from what I found, that just makes it so much easier because you can actually get a pretty, you can make it smaller. You can see that it will be smaller, if that makes sense. I don't know if I explained that good, but. I'd like The Bad Batch. Yeah, Celador. I do have a desire to watch it just because I see so much hubbub about it on Twitter. People are constantly talking about it, and I'm sure eventually I'll get around to watching it. Is this the second season of it? I have a lot of episodes to catch up on. Maybe I'll do that one day, but yeah. I cannot tell you the last time that I sat down and watched something for myself. If I'm sitting in front of the TV, it's usually me and my wife, and we're picking something between ourselves that we want to watch, you know. I can't imagine having... Time is very limited. If I'm not at work, I'm at home. I do long runs after every shift. Around the neighborhood. I'm constantly doing shit around the house, occasionally making a video. It's funny, like I thought when I started the job I would be a little more lazy, a little more lazy, but like when I get home, I'm just all systems go. I'm full steam ahead. And I make a checklist of things that I need to do. Like today, my checklist included mowing, edging. I'm a list maker, man. Like every day, I make a list of things because I'm very forgetful, and I'll end up just wandering around without a list. Today I did because we're kind of preparing for our trip, so I had a lot of shit to do. I mowed, I edged, I dug up some plants that were kind of dying. I finished all the laundry. I did all the dishes. I cleaned our bedroom. I ripped up some carpet because we're gonna get some flooring in, some hardwood flooring in our bedroom. What else did I do? I didn't vacuum because I let the robot vacuum do that shit. I packed for the trip. Yeah. I'm a list maker. Oh, and I made a video, and now I'm streaming. Yeah, Celador and Stuart, eventually, you know, she might want to watch some of the animated Star Wars stuff. I'm not going to pressure her into watching it. She doesn't really have any interest in Star Wars right now, which is fine with me. I don't give a shit if she likes that stuff. You know, I want her to be into her own thing. But maybe one day she'll want to check out some of the animated stuff, and that would be cool. But if not, that's fine too. It was funny. We were at Disney World, just me and her. I took her down for the day a couple months ago, and we were gonna we got some popcorn, and we got to the front of the line, and we were gonna get one of the special, like, they're not special. They're just plastic. Instead of getting it in like a paper thing, you can get it in a plastic popcorn bowl, and when you bring it back, you can get it like refilled for like $3. So we were gonna do that. And I asked her which one she wanted, and she picked out the Star Wars one. And I was like, really? You want the Star Wars one? And she said, yeah. And then we got it. We got our popcorn. We were eating it. And I said, why'd you pick out the Star Wars one? And she said, because you like Star Wars. And I was like, oh, kill me right now. Too sweet. Too sweet 10% of the time. A complete nightmare 90% of the time. Take it easy, Vince. Good to see you, man. If you watch it out, Yule Bowl, he's known for like, well, yeah, House of the Dead, the video game movies. Yeah, I've never seen any of his stuff, but I know he's the butt of a lot of jokes, or he used to be. We've gotten almost 700 inches of snow here in Utah this year. No grass in sight. Jesus. That's crazy. It was originally supposed to snow where we were going. My wife constantly checks the weather whenever we're going on a trip. Like months out. Months out. She'll be checking the weather. And of course it's completely unreliable. What was like predicted a month ago is completely different now. So like every couple hours she's checking the weather, and I'm like, it's not just we're going to be there in a couple days. But it was originally supposed to snow, and now it doesn't look like it's going to. Which is kind of a bummer, because we were hoping my daughter could see snow for the first time. But Oscar Rodriguez, thank you so much for the channel support. Mr. Oscar says, some episodes of The Bad Batch Season 2 are great follow-ups to Andor. Not so much in quality, but thematically. More specifically, the episodes involving Crosshair. Interesting. I have heard on Twitter people describe the Bad Batch, the latest episode, maybe the last couple episodes, as on par with Andor, which piqued my interest because I'm such a big fan of that show. So yeah, I've heard really good things about this season, Oscar, especially over the past couple weeks. I feel like people are gushing about the Bad Batch. I feel like I almost feel like when I'm scrolling through Twitter and the people in like the Star Wars community that I follow, I feel like they're talking about the Bad Batch and recommending the Bad Batch and gushing over the Bad Batch more than they are the past 2 episodes of The Mandalorian, which definitely piqued my interest. So, yeah, eventually, Oscar, I'll get around to watching it. I have no idea when. How many let me see. Let's check this out, Oscar. The Bad Batch, Season 1. The Bad Batch, let's see. Oh, there's 16 episodes in the first season and 16 episodes in the second season. Man, that's a lot. That's so daunting and overwhelming. When I see that many episodes in a season, and I know I have like no time to watch shit by myself, I almost feel like I'm gonna go to my grave never watching this show. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know when I'm gonna have time to watch any of it, man. I barely have time to watch The Mandalorian. I just happened to be off work today and it came out, you know. But anyway, Oscar, one day I will jump in. One day. I don't know when. I might be 70 years old. Which isn't that far off. 70 years? That's 33 and a half years away. That's kind of wild to think about. Is that right? 70 minus 36. Yep. Okay. I appreciate that, Crossguard. Been snowing heavily in Norway for the last week, at least here where you live. I've always wanted to go to Norway. That's where my dad's side of the family is from. Yeah, I've always wanted to go there. When I did an ancestry test, I had so many relatives, like distant relatives that were from Norway, currently like living in Norway. It was kind of neat to see. But dude, I think the last time that it actually I don't know, when's the last time it snowed in Jacksonville? 1989. 1989 was the last real snow day in Jacksonville. Now, I would say 8 years ago or so, it was super cold. It was winter, and we went outside because they said we might see some snow. And I walked outside, and I had a black pickup truck at that time, and if I looked at my truck, if I stared at the blackness of my truck, I could see little specks of snow. I mean, the faintest, and it only lasted for a few minutes, and so I wouldn't consider that snow. But yeah, the last time it snowed in Florida was 1989. How close are you to Ponte Vedra, Biggs? Not that close. We live in St. Augustine. I mean, relatively close, I guess, but yeah, we live in St. Augustine-ish. We used to live down in are you from Jacksonville? We used to live, our first house was down in Riverside, downtown. We lived kind of like Avondale, Riverside ish, and we lived there for 5 or 6 years. That was our first house, and then we sold it, and now we moved down to St. Augustine. But oh, nice, you're in Ponte Vedra. I've been to the Ponte Vedra, I don't know, the beach, the club, whatever the hell they call it there, a few times with the pool and the It's super nice, but I know some people who are members there, so we've gone there a few times for events or just for the hell of it. You know, they got the bar, the beach, the pool. Yeah, it's nice. I'd never pay for that shit, but it's nice to know people who do, right? Nice, man. Small world, huh? The skits out of that old house were so raw and funny. Dude, I miss... Yeah. I miss doing that kind of stuff. I wish I had more time to do that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll get back into it, man. I think, honestly, like, if I had an idea for a goofy skit in the vein, like, in a same kind of... similar to what I used to, I think that would start an entirely new, or entirely, yeah, like a whole new, invigorate, it would invigorate me and make me want to make more goofy stuff like I used to, you know. Maybe one day I'll start that all back up, but, you know, it's a casualty of not having time and, you know, to make stuff and put a lot of effort and time into making those goofy skits. I don't make a lot of videos as it is. And the only time that I have to write videos or even work on videos is in front of my computer at home. I do bring my laptop to the fire station, but it's kind of difficult to sit and focus and maybe write some ideas in a video when I'm at the fire station, because whenever I've attempted to do that in the past, we get calls and, you know, I can't really remain focused. But yeah, anyway. One day, Cole, I know that's the stuff that I miss doing. I miss doing really dumb, goofy videos. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll try to rack my brain and come up with something stupid. Beegs, small. Yeah, indeed. We've gone to the Ponte Vedra Concert Hall quite a bit. That's a good venue. I like that place. We saw Josh Ritter there. Bright Eyes, I think we saw there. We've seen a few bands there. Do you like your job? Oh, I love it. I love it. It's I should have done it 10 years ago when I got out of the military. But I love it. It's a good fit. It doesn't feel like a job. It feels like I don't know how to describe it. It's more than a job, you know. It's an identity almost. It's a calling, you know. I don't really know how to describe it. We need another form of a Galactic Empire parody video. Yeah, I miss making those, Brian. Yeah, maybe one day I'll do that. Concert hall is sick. So many cool artists play there, but talk about beach bars. Man, St. Augustine is spot, especially nights of light during the holidays. Yeah, we are last year for our anniversary, we actually got a hotel down in St. Augustine, and we were kind of surprised that so many things closed so early. Like everything, all the bars down on at least St. George Street and stuff like that closed at like 10 o'clock. And we were like, we want to keep going. But what we like to do is we don't really go to St. George Street or that main strip anymore. What we like to do is kind of go over the Lions Bridge and go to like near what's it called? Anastasia State Park. There's some really good restaurants and breweries on the island there. Like our favorite brewery is I think our all-time favorite one is Ardwolf downtown in San Marco, but we love Old Coast Ales. It's it's right across the Bridge of Lions, and if you're familiar with that area, it's kind of near, I don't really know how to explain it. Candlelight South is on that same road right there. But yeah, there's a lot of great spots for sure. There's some pretty good breweries in St. Augustine and Jacksonville and St. Augustine, all over the place here. We got some really good breweries. We have Old Coast, Ancient City. Ancient City's good to just like, it's never busy and you can go there and just, it's, I don't know, like we have Bog, which is really small, intimate. I like it. The other one is Dog Rose. Dog Rose is kind of more like St. Augustine proper, like down near St. George Street kind of. But yeah. I know nothing about the outdoors. I would be that person who would die in the woods after 10 minutes. No, I'm not, you know, I can put up a tent and make a fire with matches and kindling, but beyond that, I'm not. The most I've ever done outdoors wise is, my buddy, like one of my best friends, he's a part of the cabin crew that I've known since I was 13. He actually hiked the entirety of the Appalachian Trail, and I did the first, I think it was like 40 miles with him. So for 3 days, pretty much, we just hiked. Like I picked him up from the airport. We drove to the trailhead, and we started hiking for 40 miles. It took 3 days, and we camped in the woods 3 nights. Yeah, 3 nights. Yep. We camped in the woods 2 nights, and then we stayed at a hostel on the 3rd night. It was kind of cool. He brought a lot of stuff because he was going the full, I don't know how many miles it is. What is it, like 2,000 miles? Appalachian Trail distance. Yeah, 2,200 miles. He hiked the entirety of it, but when I started the journey with him, and it was pretty neat. And our first night we were camping, and he brought a lot of stuff. He ended up giving me a lot of stuff to bring back with me because I think most people do this too. You know, they overpack. They don't realize that they don't need as much as they initially thought, and they don't want that weight on their back, that much weight. So, but he brought a sterno stove, like a little sterno stove, right? And we would eat like boxed mac and cheese or peanut butter every night. And one night, it was we made mac and cheese on the sterno stove in the middle of the woods in between our tents. And then it started absolutely pouring. And we just kind of left our stuff out there. Left the sterno stove. And then we wake up in the morning, and this little sterno stove is filled with water. And we notice something in the water. So, like the sterno stove, think it's just a little, I don't know, like 6-inch by 6-inch square, and you sit like a pot or something like that on top of it, and it can boil water and whatnot. And we noticed that in the pot on top of the stove, it was filled with water, and we noticed inside there was something. And when we poured it out, it was a dead mouse. So this mouse probably smelled the goodness of the boxed shitty mac and cheese, crawled inside of the pot that we boiled the mac and cheese on, filled up with water, and drowned in our only pot. So yeah, that was weird to wake up to. A drowned dead mouse in the pot that we ate out of, and subsequently ate out of that night. Yeah. That's a story. Yeah, we like to we kind of we've taken a lot of trips that just revolve around hiking. Like, we like going on cabin trips and finding fun waterfall hikes and stuff like that. Me and my wife in 2017, we took a 10-day trip. We rented an RV and took a 10-day trip to Utah, and we drove what's called the Utah Mighty 5. I think it was like 1,400 miles total. Like, we flew into Vegas and then got out of there as quick as we fucking possibly could, rented an RV, and then drove this giant loop. We visited 5 national parks in Utah and then the Grand Canyon. So 6 national parks total. And yeah, we did hikes in every one of them. So a lot of our trips that we've done revolve around hiking, outdoor stuff. And Cole, maybe I'll ask, have you ever been to Yellowstone? We're trying to figure out what to do next year, not this year, but next year for our anniversary. And we're thinking of doing another RV road trip, but this time going to Yellowstone, like just Yellowstone. Because apparently it's enormous, and I think it would be kind of fun to just kind of stay in one giant national park and drive around it and kind of spend a lot of time in different locations in the same park, you know. Okay, maybe I'll ask you some questions if you have any pointers. Some places that are that you would recommend, you know. Maybe that aren't the biggest touristy places, but a little off the beaten path. Yeah, man, I'll have to do that for sure. Again, this is 2 years away, or a year away, pretty much. But we're trying to figure out what to do. We've been kind of bouncing some ideas around. We were thinking of going to like like even Scotland, or doing like a little backpacking or train tourism, or even a river cruise in Europe. I really want to see a lot of some like the World War II sites, but we might save that for the future, and do another RV trip at a national park. It's either going to be like Denali or Yellowstone, I think. We'll see. Nice, Cole. Yeah, I'll definitely reach out at some point. I don't know when, but I absolutely will. As of right now, it's we're trying to figure out where to go, but that's pretty high up on the list of possibilities. Nice, man. HG, when you gonna put those rope skills to work in Moab and climb Castleton? I can set up a Z rig. I can set up an RPM setup, like a rack, the bar rack. I don't know what you guys use. The bar rack, pulley, mariner's hitch. Ascend and descend. I can rig a Stokes basket. I can tie a bunch of knots. Bowline, butterfly, figure eight on a bite, double figure eight, mariners. That's with webbing. Clove hitch, anything and everything like that. Don't you guys love how this is all about the Mandalorian? Oh, I love these streams, man. I told you at the beginning it's going to be 10% Mandalorian and then 90% everything else. Climbing rope systems are pretty straightforward compared to what you are doing. Well, it's interesting because you do learn a lot of various systems and it's complicated at first because it's a whole new world, right? We've set up highway lines, bunch of stuff, but when you break it down, the systems are pretty simple. Especially because the technology, there's the old technology and then there's the new technology, right? The old technology is bar racks. I don't know if you've ever used bar racks, but the old technology is bar rack, mariner's hitch, and all that kind of stuff. So basically like 3 or 4 components to accomplish ascending and descending of a rescuer. The technology has gotten to the point where there's one device now that does the job of 4 devices of the past. So like you'll have like MPD or what's called a clutch, and these things, these devices, these new, I mean they've been around for a while, but I think they're pretty new for fire departments just because the time it takes to assimilate new technology, it's a lot longer than in the private sector, if that makes sense. So like, yeah, you can set up a very complicated rig, or you can use one of these new devices and it does the job of 4 different devices, if that makes sense. We don't use bar racks. Yeah, I don't know. Nobody should. It's if you have the availability of the new technology. Jumars. I don't know. What's that? Let me see what that is. Jumar climbing device. Oh, okay, yeah, this is like we call it it looks very similar to a Gibbs device. We use Gibbs devices. Do they serve the same purpose? Let's see. Yeah, we use Gibbs devices. Like Gibbs ascenders. Yeah. So, yeah, we use the Gibbs or Prussics. I definitely prefer the Gibbs just because, the simpler the better, right? Utilize technology, but yeah, it's pretty neat, man. Once you get into it, it's fun. I remember the first time that I was in charge of manning the bar rack, and as I was so I'm manning the bar rack, and I am in charge of lowering the rescuer to the patient, and it's nerve-wracking because the bar rack, there's really no, you are the safety. Your tension is the safety with a bar rack. It's kind of hard to explain if you've never seen one. There's just a lot of moving components. It's I don't know. It's a weird. It's just ancient. It's ancient technology, really. What? You're way more versed in this stuff than I am, Cole. I'm a complete newbie when it comes to this stuff. I've really only been working with it for about a year. Well, we don't use the bar racks. That it was just for that was to get familiar with the technology. Let's say your MPD or your clutch, you don't have it. It's not on your truck, or it's out of commission or something like that. Then you need to know how to use these other systems, right? So you need to know how to set up a completely, I guess, antiquated system with a bunch of different components that, the older components, I guess. So like if all else fails, you can set this up with old technology, right? See, you just another thing I've never heard of. Is it Grigris? Grigris? Belay device. Okay. Yeah. We haven't belayed with this. I've belayed, but just with the I can't even remember what it's called, but it's almost like an arrow that attaches to the front of your harness, and you can. It's not like this. This looks way better. Interesting. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, man, I'm gonna hit you up for sure for some Yellowstone stuff, but. All right, everybody, I gotta go. I got a jet. My favorite thing about this stream is that it's titled The Mandalorian Chapter 18, The Mines of Mandalore, and people are gonna click on it expecting a full hour-long conversation about this episode, and they're gonna get 5 minutes of that conversation, and the rest of it is gonna be me and Cole talking about climbing stuff. I love it. No, do not apologize, man. I prefer it this way. I prefer it this way. All right, guys, that's it for me. So, yep, you won't hear from me until out of town. I'm working tomorrow, out of town Friday. Get back Tuesday, work on Wednesday. You probably won't hear from me until Thursday. So, about a week from now. So. I'm excited for the trip, man. Follow me on Instagram at official_HelloGreedo if you want to see some photos from our trip. I always like to take a bunch of pictures, and when we're out in the wilderness. But yeah, go follow me on Instagram if you already. That goes. Yeah, you. Go follow me on Instagram. Oh, that's so cringy. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you hanging out with me and putting up with my nonsense. But yeah, now it's time to scroll through YouTube and Netflix and say, what do you want to watch? What do you want to watch? I don't know. Just pick something. What do you want to watch? I don't know. And then we just end up watching Good Mythical Morning and then going to bed. It's the life. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your morning, your afternoon, your evening. Have a fantastic day. And I'll catch you all on the flip side. See ya.